my journey is so interesting that my dad used to say, your kids don't sleep because they're so excited about all you do. They can't sleep. And so I just want to share a little bit about my homeschool journey with you and show you how you too can make the world your classroom. So I want to tell you my story. Prior to having children and meeting my husband, it's true, I had not seen the inside of a Bible. And there are a lot of people out there, and this is why I'm very passionate about apologetics and passionate about sharing the gospel in places that you would never believe. And God has used me in so many ways to get alongside of people who don't know the gospel and haven't heard it before. And so there was a friend of mine who I knew at the University of Maryland, and she was so kind enough to say, hey, let me look through your CDs, records. I'm dating myself now. And she picked out that one record that was really a tribute to the Lord. And it was on some R&B record. It changed my life. It began to help me think. And I was saved, got saved probably about a year after that. And my whole journey now has been helping other people just really fall in love with the Lord and fall in love with homeschooling. And so when my husband and I first got married, it's been 28 years, like Zan told you, we couldn't have children. Psalms 113:9 says he makes it the barren woman to keep house and to become a joyful mother of children. And so I started, our journey as husband and wife. I couldn't have any children. And how many of you guys remember just begging God for something? And then when you get it, you're so overwhelmed. And I realized that the time that we spent just waiting and dealing with infertility was the time that God prepared me for today, for such a time as this. So fast forward the story. Not only did we have one child, Lastasia, but they kept coming and coming. And actually, we were dealing with barrenness in between child number 1 and 2 as well. So it's just so exciting. So now, let me give you the story. We have 7 children. The ages is 25 to 7. So let me see if I can get the ages. We have 25, 21. Then I think I have 19, 17, 15, and then I have a 12-year-old, and then I have a 7-year-old. And I want you to know, and I know some of you are out there and you're waiting. You're like Sarah, waiting. Every Mother's Day, and Mother's Day is coming up again. People say, how you doing? When I couldn't have children, I would say, call me Hannah. I was just laying before the Lord. And I know Mother's Day is coming. And it's just an exciting time because not only did I have children, I had children very late. Like very, very late, like beyond 30s, beyond 40s. And so I want to give you hope out there if you're waiting, if you're dealing with infertility. Children are the heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. And wouldn't it be so exciting if we changed our perspective about this homeschooling and this opportunity for us to be so busy? Now, I want to tell you my story. When I first started homeschooling, it's almost 2 decades. My husband said, is this legal? Like, don't have the police at my door. Well, he is the police. So I said, honey, you are the police. He says, well, don't have my coworkers at my door. Is this legal? And that's when I connected with HSLDA and fell in love with all of their work at Homeschool Legal Defense Association because my husband wanted to make sure that I was doing it right. And you guys are so smart to get connected to BJU Press Homeschooling, people who are the authority in homeschooling. And so you don't have to worry about not knowing what to do, not knowing about curriculum. They're there to help you. And it's a wonderful curriculum. And so here we are. We went from reluctant to, oh my gosh, am I doing the right things? Do I have the right books? Do I have the right curriculum? To leader. And that's how I describe myself. I went from a reluctant homeschooler to a leader. And I tell you, it's been so very, very exciting. And I know some of you are out there. You're maybe reluctant about your home education. You're not sure what you're using, if it's right. I want you to know to get excited about homeschooling and understand the fact that if you make the world your classroom, every opportunity is for your child to learn from you. And there's so many adventures that we have going on. And I want to tell you about some of them, just a few of them. We're RVers. So you might have heard, I road school. Do you road school? Sure you do. You take your kids out to activities, to sports, To the grocery store, you road school. Well, we took it a step further. We purchased a 33-foot RV. It sleeps 10. And we went from road schooling in a car to an RV. And when we went to pick up the RV, we called it RV school. Right? There's always an opportunity for kids around you to learn. And I love learning alongside, as well as my husband. We love learning alongside of our children. And there's never a dull moment. We take it to sports, we travel, and we're also in the process of restoring our family beach property. My husband's side of the family, we own a beach, and it's been in the family for 7 generations now. And so while we were restoring it, we just figure out we'll just start a campsite. Like, let's just start RVing over to our own family beach. And it is so much fun. It's never a dull moment. And there's always inevitably someone who comes alongside and says, "Is this homeschooling?" And I say, "Absolutely. My daughter's planting a strawberry garden. That's botany." They say, "Is this homeschooling?" My daughter's painting the fence. And I say, "That's art." "Is this homeschooling?" My son is restoring the floor there. And I say, "This is construction management." So it's nice to kind of decide what you want to do and make it a classroom, make it a learning adventure. I'm a big fan of the Junior Ranger program and all the national parks. There's so much out there to learn. I don't really think that a kid could wake up any day and not have an opportunity to learn from you. You, mom and dad, there's so much to learn. They're watching you. And I always say you have to move at the speed of your family. Well, right now we have 3 that have already graduated on to college, and we only have 4 more to go. Only have 4 more to go. And 2 of them are in high school. One is elementary, one is middle school, and one is elementary. And so it's just always an opportunity for us to learn from each other and grow. And the same for you as well. So I want to give you some tips that I wrote down for you that I hope that when you're thinking about homeschooling and making the world your classroom, that you don't leave anything out. I don't believe that there's a trip that you can take around the world that others can't learn, that your children can't learn. For instance, we road schooled, or I should say RV'd, all the way to Dallas, Texas. And so we were talking about the state history for all the states that we crossed. We're in Maryland, so we went through Maryland, we went through Virginia, we went to Tennessee, we went to Arkansas, and then we were over to Dallas and into Texas. And we just talked about the histories on all the states that we traveled. There's so much you can learn. There's so much material available for you. I want you to know that if you design your vision for your homeschool, success is just inevitable. Design the vision for your homeschool. It's springtime now. Is it gardening? Is it canning? We're even doing 3D printing, right? We're doing art shows. One of the things that I have the pleasure of doing is helping my church with the homeschool group. And for the past 12 years, I've been the ministry director there. And one of the things that I do is I have a co-op and a classical. And there's so much for the kids to learn. We do so many things. We do unschooling. Maybe you're traditional, maybe you're classical, maybe you're unschooler. All of it is education. And one of the things that I love is that I pick the months. I decide, well, September, October, November will be kind of more classical, traditional. And then December, well, that's Christmas, right? There's things to do in Christmas. We're definitely eclectic. And now we're back to our classical / traditional for January, February, March. And then April, at the end of April, we move back into more of a unschool, eclectic approach. And so you too can design your homeschool and make it work for you and your family. One of the things that I learned after coming from a traditional school setting into a homeschool setting is that you gain double amount of hours. My oldest daughter, LaStasia, used to say, "Ma, we gained 24 extra hours coming out of traditional school." Why? Because there was no longer homework. They used to be in school all day and in school all night doing homework. And so now there was no more homework in the evening. That leaves opportunity for you to grow, learn, and explore. We're doing things like sports. For a while, we had several junior Olympic gymnasts in our family, and we would travel to some of the best gyms in the nation to explore the sport of gymnastics. In fact, my older daughter competed on a club level at her university, and my current daughter, who happens to be at the University of Maryland, is doing the club level in volleyball. There's so much you can do. And I don't know about you, even when you have younger kids and you're towing them kind of in your adventure to sports, to activities, to doctor's appointments, there's so much you can do. Now, I want to give you some tips on how you can make the world your classroom. Get yourself a little, it's like a bag. You know how you put your, you buy sheets and not towels, you buy sheets, right? And they usually come up in this plastic Ziploc bag, zip bag. Well, I keep those. And what I do is I make it a little manipulative kit, right? So you have little play money in there, you have blocks in there, you have, all the things that you want to work with your younger student, particularly if you have younger kids, because kids love to have an opportunity. I recently added down to our beach house is I added dry erase. Now, I know some of you are better mamas than me. You guys got that laminate machine all together. I just have never been able to do it. So I buy the sheets that have lamination and I just use dry erase markers. And you will be surprised how much a kid can learn just alongside of you in just a few moments. It doesn't have to take a long time. And then I also have some special needs sons. My sons needed to see speech pathology. So for 4 years, my oldest son saw speech pathology, and our day was an adventure. Like we would get up and we'd have to go an hour away to Children's Hospital and an hour back. But guess what? That's your classroom. There's so much you can learn in that travel time, and don't forget, there's all kinds of road school games, things like the license plate game, right? Or numbers, or colors of cars, or really just getting engaged with your child while you're on the road and you're road schooling, or you're on travel or on vacation. Just pay attention. Today was an adventurous day. We took a journey, and we were about an hour and a half from the house, and we met some friends, and we were introducing them to some more of our friends. And it was just so exciting. And we were connected with a homeschooler who lived all the way in Colorado, and we're in Maryland. Now that my kids have friends, even more friends. So pay attention to every place you go, because every place you go is definitely a classroom. I also want to remind you that you want to work through obstacles. We dealt with tragedy. We dealt with death. My husband lost both of his parents, and it was tragic. And you know what? That's a classroom too. There's so much you can learn, even in your bereavement period, just learning. And so we're restoring our mother-in-law, which is their grandparents' property, and just working through our pain, and that there's so much to learn there as well. So I don't want you to think everything has to be all rosy or things have to be book and paper at all times. They're learning by watching you. So pay attention. So as you have obstacles, I remember being pregnant and pregnant again and pregnant again and pregnant again. So much so, one of our newest adventures, is that our 2 new multi-poo puppies, they're adult puppies now. Well, they had a litter. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6. You guessed it, 7 puppies. They actually had 8 puppies, and one of them we lost. And guess what? Part of our classroom was trying to figure out, what do we do with a puppy that died. And I put a whole curriculum around it, because things happen. Life has all kinds of classrooms for you. And so now we have a litter of 7. And guess what? That's animal science. That's animal science. We got all kinds of materials to help support the puppies, and we're having such a good time. The puppies will be 8 weeks soon, and we're all going to the vet. All of us. Guess what? There's no need to add anything to that. It's the world. It's your classroom. And I remember when one of the vets allowed my daughter to listen to the heart of her dog. Just so much going on, because I have one kid who loves animals and she wants to be a vet. So there's so much you can do. Here's what I want to say to you as I close. I want to encourage you to make memories, because everything is a memory. Take pictures and make sure that you move at the speed of your family, of your situation. And like Zan said, learn to enjoy homeschooling, learn to enjoy the journey, learn to just get excited and be like me. Be a joyful mother of children. And remember that he maketh the barren woman to keep house and to be a joyful mother of children. Praise ye the Lord.